So if you picked the first pile, I'm seeing here that your current focus is on truth, honesty, and integrity. You're solemn and steadfast, a little bit rigid and perfectionist. There are areas of your life that you fought to have peace in, and you're not budging from the fortress you've created. You're not aggressive with proving a point, however, you are being intentional and protective. Almost like everything is serious for you right now. You're telling yourself not to let anything slide. Though it's been rewarding for you to weed out external things you felt were compromising your peace and integrity, you're kind of lonely. You thought isolating your heart from others was protective, but the result you're experiencing is isolation not just from other people, but from yourself as well. Life is to be lived. Love and joy are to be shared. You cannot continue to approach every opportunity and every relationship stern and cold hearted. You cannot continue to make decisions only with your head. You need to balance your mind and your heart. Understand that humans are social and symbiotic. We have to depend on others and have positive interactions with entities, people, and beings outside of ourselves for survival. This is a fact, and there is no getting around it. No one is truly self made or self sufficient. We are all products of our relationships and interactions. Choose to embrace this truth in the way you navigate your experiences. This requires authenticity. This requires vulnerability. This is a frightening step to take for anyone, but especially for someone who has locked themselves off from being open, present, and vulnerable for so long. But do it anyway. Talk to people, share your personality, offer others grace instead of expecting pristine, perfect behavior. The more you come to love and accept yourself and build the skill to hold yourself accountable while also showing yourself compassion, you'll be able to offer these things to others more freely. That way, the small things that used to send you packing won't be as difficult for you to tolerate. But this doesn't happen overnight. You have to be intentional about opening up your heart space. Watch your negative self talk. Stop drawing conclusions from every single thing people say and do. Let things be. And trust yourself more. You've developed strong discernment and decisiveness. Don't lose this. Just allow your heart to come out and play as well. Have patience with yourself and with others. This is a part of allowing others grace, allowing them to show you who they are. People make mistakes. Some things should not be excused or overlooked, but you know what I'm talking about when I say small things. Truly stop taking everything as a personal slight. Stop axing out people and opportunities because of one small imperfection. You'll never be able to resolve your own feelings of unworthiness by judging the worthiness and perfection of others. You've grown more and more rigid with people and things outside of you, which in turn has made you less and less accepting and loving of yourself. And now you feel lonely because you're chipping away at your own self-love and self-respect every time you judge or criticize yourself. And you've blocked yourself off from other people, so you're missing out on opportunities for the people around you to reflect positive message and love about and toward you. You do not have to be your own harshest critic. You can be honest without being cold. And this is what I mean by not just operating from your headspace, but bringing your heart in so that both parts are operating in harmony. You don't have to be perfect to have value. Your creator values you immensely just as you are, and setting intentions for improvement doesn't mean you are broken. It just means a new understanding requires new behaviors in order to facilitate a new reality. I'm inviting you to spend the next 2 weeks holding this intention, marrying your head and your heart in the way you operate, keeping truth, authenticity, compassion, and grace wrapped together at all times in all things. Anytime you feel the need to make a critical statement about someone else, acknowledge your own shortcoming that is being highlighted in that situation, and then say something positive and loving about yourself instead. Just for 2 weeks, and then come back and evaluate how you feel. Okay, so if you picked the second pile, you're in group 2, and I'm seeing that you're currently directing your focus toward a recent or a major heartbreak, pain, trauma, healing that issue, or potentially disappointments related to cooperation or teamwork or lack thereof. I'm also seeing you having some energy directed toward your mental health, potentially depression. And one thing it is important for you to remember right now is that you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, and you are not your behaviors. These things are a part of you, and they are tools that only take the driver's seat of your life when you relinquish control. Your current understanding of depression or heartbreak or trauma or whatever is that it's an ever present burden on your shoulders that you just have to live with. As a result, your current coping strategies involve a lot of distraction, a lot of fighting off the thoughts and feelings that send you down a dark path. It's important for you to understand now more than ever that you're not a depressed person, but you're a person experiencing symptoms of depression. This applies to heartbreak, trauma, disappointment, whatever level of pain this resonates with. You're not a heartbroken person, you're a person who experienced heartbreak, and so forth and so on. Understand that the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors you experience are symptoms. Coping strategies allow you to manage these symptoms so that you can live your life to the best of your current ability. However, these symptoms are a compass pointing you toward deeper issues that need to be addressed. The purpose of managing symptoms is not to just keep the pain monkey on your back from overtaking you, but to help you create space that supports you in processing and healing the deeper issues at the root that are creating those symptoms. This is a season of inner work. Wintertime, Scorpio season, a new moon, all of this aligns as a prime opportunity to spend time with yourself, digging deep and really healing all the stuff you've tried to repress and suppress. Because, beloved, no matter how much you shove your emotions down or push your thoughts to the back of your mind, they will make their way and seep out. It's better to address them intentionally and strategically than to let them jump out on their own terms and derail you. Go to therapy. Tell your therapist the truth. Do the exercises and skills your therapist shares with you, and then report back on how well they worked or if they didn't work at all. Tell yourself the truth. And even if you can't afford therapy right now, try to make a plan to access therapy in the future. And then in the meantime, utilize whatever free resources are currently available. You can try the website therapistaid.com. That's therapist and then aid.com, and look up their CBT resources like worksheets about the cognitive model, thought logs, cognitive restructuring, challenging thoughts, behavioral activation, automatic thoughts, core beliefs, etc. You can also watch YouTube videos or listen to podcasts on these topics as well. Use your coping strategies to tolerate the emotional discomfort that comes from facing your pain instead of avoiding it. Stop trying to flood yourself with social activities to avoid what's brewing inside of you. At some point, you're going to come up on some deep-rooted issues, potentially from as far back as your childhood. Prepare for this. Use your supports and your resources. You don't have to process this stuff alone. It is transformation season, and transformation is a lot of work. It's not pretty, it's not sexy, and it's not fun, but it's necessary, and it's necessary for everyone. This isn't just a you thing, it's an integral part of the human experience. But you have to understand how strong and how powerful you are. You've made it this far in spite of the weight of everything you've been carrying, both mentally and emotionally. Just imagine how high you will soar once that weight is no longer attached to you. Hold that image of yourself in your mind when this work gets uncomfortable. Remind yourself that your goal is to trade in trauma in order to thrive. Thriving is your birthright, and it's time for you to claim it. There's also a specific message here for practitioners. I just want to give a disclaimer that Orisha do not communicate through tarot cards. Um, this particular deck, the Hermit card, is represented by Yumaya. I usually only read this card as representative of like the compassionate, enveloping, and healing nature of feminine energy, or like the divine mother energy. However, I feel inclined to remind you, if you are a practitioner, specifically Avarisha, tap into the resources and practices available to you to help you heal and overcome trauma. Your tools can do much more than you are giving them credit for. Also, stop avoiding the tools that aren't as fun or as glamorous. They're in the toolkit for a reason, and it's time to get to it. Use your tools and work your people. So, if you picked the third pile, right now it looks like you are focused on manifestation, expansion, and tapping into your creativity. There is a pull or a push here to take full advantage of opportunities and to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. This could either be the energy you're currently in, or there's a present situation that's pushing you into that energy. However, it looks like you're holding on to too much and spreading yourself too thin to actually be successful or masterful in anything you're currently working toward, or it's for you to be successful at the level you desire. In this situation, your shadow may be showing up in either or both of the following ways. One, it's a scarcity mindset that's telling you that you work too hard to achieve something just to let it go or turn away from it so quickly or easily. It may help to reframe this thought by telling yourself that you've worked hard and accomplished great things once, which is proof that you're able to do it again, as opposed to looking at the accomplishment as an anomaly or a one-time thing. Or B, complacency has you spending too much time reveling in what you have and what you've accomplished, and so you're not moving toward the greater opportunities you're being called to. There is a clear open lane for you, but you have to believe that you're worthy and capable of not only walking that path, but mastering and dominating it, because that's what is aligned with you and for you. Either way, whether it's a scarcity mindset or complacency, you have to accept that your purpose and your mission are greater than any one experience or accomplishment. Therefore, you have to work on your ability to detach from any one specific thing or outcome. Take a step back and recognize the skills and strategies that have gotten you to where you are, and then refine them. Build your will, build your discipline, build your focus. You need to master turning passion and sparks of inspiration into consistent, direct, and intentional action. And the key to this is stillness. Practice meditation with both the intention to reach clarity and to build the actual skill. Build and maintain a consistent spiritual practice that includes cleansing and protection. Do these things so when it's time to seek clarity and direction, you may do so with ease, comfort, and confidence. You know yourself. You know when you lose steam and what that looks like. You know how complacency and a lack of motivation feels and presents in your actions. If you don't know, then study yourself. Pay attention to your habits and your thought patterns. Once you have an understanding of these aspects of your personality, develop a plan for preventing these behaviors from overtaking and derailing you. What are the concrete strategies you will use to balance out your energy and continue making forward progress when the scarcity and complacency mindsets attempt to set back in? Most importantly, be kind to yourself. Now is not the time to swing to judgment and criticism. Yes, you have things to work on. Yes, you've been self-sabotaging a little bit. But you can and should be honest with yourself and push yourself forward while still being gentle and compassionate at the same time. Remember, strengthening your will and your self-discipline is an act of self-love and self-respect, not punishment. Okay, last but not least, if you picked the fourth card pile, your current focus surrounds the energy of closing deals, ending cycles, and being on the receiving end of partnerships or some type of determination. You're thinking about your lineage and building a legacy. Overall, it seems like you're anticipating this large, undeniable moment that transforms your life. There's a final push coming towards you, and you can sense that it's coming, but understand that everything you're seeking to receive and experience can be found in the day-to-day physical and material realities that you have, as opposed to grand gestures or supernatural phenomena. It seems as though you've gotten way too comfortable with some destructive or self sabotaging behaviors because you think no one knows about them since you engage in them behind closed doors. However, the evidence is in the fruit or the lack thereof. The things you're waiting to bring in are being blocked by the poor choices and misaligned behaviors you engage in on an everyday basis across dimensions and settings. Behaviors like not being focused and thus not completing work tasks on time, not sticking to the cleaning regimen in your house, or abandoning routines in general, laziness, procrastination, dishonesty with self and others, maintaining unhealthy relationships and connections, using people or allowing yourself to be used, not setting and enforcing clear boundaries, irresponsible sexual behavior, indulging sexual imagery or content that promotes a negative or unrealistic perception of sex, taking shortcuts or looking for the easy way out, eating poorly or not at all, not getting rest, not exercising, not meditating, not praying, not working your altar, not asking for protection or showing gratitude, scrolling social media or playing games instead of reading, studying, and working, negative self talk, not tending to your mental or physical health. I can go on. But I'm sure by now you can see all of these things that you may do on a daily basis start to add up. You may think people don't know or don't see, and that just may be the case. But you know, and Spirit knows, and you can't run game on the universe. And the impact of these behaviors and choices are reflected in the lack of culmination of your dreams and desires. Now, on the flip side, you may be someone who has recognized those behaviors and has been working hard on addressing them, but you're still not seeing large scale fruits of your labor. But just as poor habits add up and culminate over time, Spirit is reminding you that the rewards are in the small victories, and those add up to overall improvements in your well being over time. Keep working, stay committed, and one day you'll look up and your life will be completely different in all of the best ways. Now there is a specific message here for some of you who have a deep desire to have a baby. First and foremost, please understand that that is an intention that you are carrying with you all the time. So please, please, please be discerning about who you're effing, whether you're using protection or not. Second, ask yourself why. Why a baby? Get clear on the void you're trying to fill and focus on working through that, because a baby won't fix it. Heal and fortify your mind, body, and spirit to nurture your own life fully, which will clear the roads for you to bring forth and nurture a child in a healthy way. If you're not someone who desires a baby, think about new life in general. Why do you feel like you need this major indication that your life is different or better? Why are the smaller victories not satisfying? What are you trying to prove to yourself? What insecurities are you running away from? And then on the flip side, what is it about a level up that you fear and thus subconsciously sabotage with harmful behaviors and habits? Reflect on these questions and address whatever negative beliefs you have about yourself that give rise to these feelings, thoughts, and behaviors. When you start to experience confusion or lack of direction, or when you catch yourself slipping back into those old self-sabotaging behaviors, strip away all the noise and all the distractions and go back to the basics. What does your body absolutely need? Things like sleep, food, water, and think about how you can uplift and purify your energy within meeting your basic needs. Strategies like setting intentions when you eat or sleep, eating clean and healthy, resting when you need to, keeping your body and your spaces clean and clutter free, and then also your spiritual hygiene. Doing these things will raise your vibration and help you to transcend the spirit of confusion and low vibrational habits that prevent you from coming into the understanding and blessings that are aligned for you. Now remember, when the work gets too hard, remind yourself that peace and a mindset of abundance within the self will bring peace and abundance to you externally. The efforts and investments that you make toward yourself will clear your vision to see the abundance that already exists in your external reality. And lastly, there is a very specific COVID related message here, and it's a warning. There's a greater universal transformation happening. Whatever COVID has highlighted as a problem area for you, do not bury your head in the sand. You have to deal with this head on. Address it now so you're not dealing with the consequences later. Separation and isolation in some form is coming for all of us. What decisions do you need to make, and what realities do you need to get comfortable with in order to make that experience as tolerable and as fruitful as possible? Have you been moving reckless with respect to the pandemic? You still have a small window to change your behaviors, so I highly, highly, highly suggest that you take it.